Hello, I'm Deborah Sword. I want to tell you a personal story about a time I lost a friend over a conflict that didn't need to happen, but I messed up. In this minicast, I'll use something that happened to me very early in my conflict management studies, before I knew enough to be conflict competent. How I'll frame this painful story about a conflict with my former friend Linda is that context does matter in conflict. I'll tell you what I did wrong and the big learning I have from it. So, what is context? Imagine you're out for a walk in the city or nature, whichever appeals to you. The activity is the walk. The parties are you and anyone who's with you. The context is everything else. If it's in the city, it's the traffic and the signal lights that keep you safe. If it's in nature, it's the quality of path and the directional signs that keep you safe. In any walk outdoors, it's the weather. If it's outdoors or in a mall or a fieldhouse track, it's how comfortable your shoes and body feel. If you're dressed appropriately for the activity, whether you feel hungry or full, what you anticipate at the end of the walk, your mood, whether you're walking for pleasure, exercise with a goal, or to escape some unpleasantness, the sum of all your surroundings includes the context. The early context for my friendship with Linda was our meeting in a business course at York University, which I was taking as part of my degree, and she was auditing as a mature student for no degree credits. Linda asked me to review her resume because she was applying for a job she really wanted. In my view, I did just what she asked. Linda claimed I offended her. She stopped wanting to be friends. I hadn't realized that I'd annoyed her over something I'd intended to be helpful. I felt hurt and misunderstood. At first, I didn't believe I'd criticized her resume. Hadn't I just suggested reordering some of the paragraphs and adding some specific examples of her accomplishments, of which she had many? The big lesson I learned from my conflict with Linda is that in conflict, we tend to limit what we consider context. My context was limited to that one event. She asked me to review her resume. That looked like a simple interpersonal conflict, which made me think that Linda was judgmental and overly sensitive. I didn't yet understand the importance of the bigger view of context. But if I was correct in what I believed, she wouldn't have ended the friendship. So I had to rethink what happened and add context. I was a grad student. She was an invited guest auditing the course. There was a power imbalance. I was fully employed. She'd been unemployed for years. She heard my suggestions for her resume as criticism to the point she thought I doubted she was capable of doing the job she wanted. I was trying to be helpful, but I'd made her feel terrible without even realizing it. She felt insecure about re-entering the workforce. I also made her feel unsafe. My identity was a career student. Her identity was needy applicant. Suddenly, I had no friend with Linda. I heard beats of disbelief, disappointment, dismay, and disorientation all at once. How could this friend do that awful thing to me? But that's the way I felt, without realizing she felt the same way for very different reasons. When I looked at the context of our different identities, power structures, needs, and mindsets, we weren't even having the same conversation. She needed reassurance and support. I gave her harsh critique about what she should do when I could have offered support and suggestions. In the context of our differences, it wasn't a simple conflict. Her needs went to her very identity. My needs were to feel smart. In conflict, a lot happens all at once. One minute, I thought I had a friend and a situation that was under control. I was sure how my day would go. I believed I understood what someone wanted, and wham, it just didn't go that way at all. Do you remember last week Tyson and I discussed how different people see the conflict starting at different points in time? And we notice different things that we add to our mental maps. In suggesting you review your bigger context with the person you're now in conflict with, you aren't looking for when this person has hurt you before or where this person might have treated you better. You're looking for the whole picture from their perspective and your perspective, the structure, the power, the influences, the total environment. Review your past with this person, looking for patterns. Create a chart if you want. Each encounter with this person has the potential to teach you a valuable conflict competency. Thank you for listening. I hope you'll subscribe. Please like and share. Leave your comments. Tell me when you might have had a big learning from a conflict with a person, or when you understood that context matters. Thanks, and we'll see you again.